An election shocker in Kenya. The Supreme Court declaring the August re-election of President Uhuru Kenyatta null and void and ordered a new presidential vote to be held in 60 days. Let's talk more about this with security and political and policy analyst Abdullahi Boru Halakhe. Abdullahi, first, I want to get your reaction to this decision by the Supreme Court. Were you surprised like everyone else?
Yeah, I think we were all surprised. I mean, anybody who says that he wasn't or she wasn't surprised, I think they are not being honest with themselves. I mean, in all the elections that we've had, I mean, all the elections that have been had across the African continent, one thing that comes through is the judiciary will say, look, there were irregularities, but the irregularities were such that they did not significantly change the outcome of the elections. So that has been a constant thread in all the rulings across the African countries. But so this one where the court says the process was no good, the institution didn't handle what it meant to handle very well, so I was surprised.
So with international observers who were there during this vote, they said the process was free and fair. So do you think the court found evidence otherwise?
Yeah, I think, I mean, many Kenyans are rightfully disappointed with the international election observation missions. But I think one of the things that we've got to be careful also is, yes, there are areas where the international election observation mission could have done better. But I don't think any of the election observation mission, whether it's Qatar, whether it's EU, whether it's Commonwealth, had anybody who had the technical capacity, particularly ICT sector. So that is one challenge. Number two, also, the election observation mission tends to issue its preliminary statement second day after the election. That always becomes very difficult. And thirdly, one of the things that I really would want to emphasize is that Kenya's election voting day, I mean, the E-day is hardly problematic. The problem is in the result transmission, where I think the International Election Observation Mission could have spent a great deal of time in scrutinizing rather than coming to the polling stations. People have voted, there are long queues, which have never been a problem even in elections where we have had.
So, Abdullahi, I guess I'm just curious, if this election, the rerun, happens in 60 days, within 60 days, well, what is going to be different about the process?
I think that is one area that the opposition has already started making their concerns very clear. They have said that we haven't seen all the ruling in its entirety, but the opposition is saying, look, if the election of the electoral commission that conducted this election is such that they cannot conduct free, fair, and credible elections, then we do not want them to be the same folks who are going to oversee this election. And that is going to be fairly problematic. Would we do away with the commission? How about the secretariat? So it's going to be really difficult to see how this will pan out. And I think it's one of those things, apart from what, if any, the International Election Observation Mission will play in the subsequent election that will be held in 60 days.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Abdullahi Boru Halakhe, thank you so much, sir.